data coordinator's call. On this call, what we're really going to do is just walk through the sample behavior incident report that already has data in it, and we're going to play around and kind of feature what reports you can pull with the system report. If some of you are using older versions of the BIR system, your system may not have all of these field features that we're going to be talking about. If you are interested in having those added, then contact Julie, and we'll get that fixed for you, okay? So those of you who are on the call, just feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions as we go along. So hopefully, even if you're watching this recorded video, you've taken the opportunity to download the sample BIR system, and then we'll just go along as we need to. So when you open the BIR system, you get 3 menus. So this first menu is for actually entering the incident report. Here's the part of the webinar where I'm going to issue a caveat, okay? What I know about the behavior incident report is what I've learned from playing with it. To my knowledge, there is no user manual, and there is no real training on pulling the report. So you're going to get what you get here, and we're all in this boat together. So here we go. So essentially, what you'll be doing is collecting the paper behavior incident reports from your staff members. And then what most of our programs are doing is assigning one person, and often that's been a support staff person or a secretary, to once a week go in and just enter the behavior incident reports that are in a stack. And to do that, you click on the behavior incident report, you click add a behavior incident report, and this is where you can just type in the information. So we'll have a child code. We're going to call the child J. Brad, and you can have the staff code as well. If you've already entered the staff, you can use a pull-down menu, or it will remember staff as you go along. So we're going to say that this is the chickadee. And the date is today. So 1/08/14. The problem behavior is a, whoops, sorry. And then the time is important because that's a field that you can search by. So let's say it happened at 9:14 a.m. and the problem behavior was running away, and it was during arrival, and the teacher was involved, and the assistant teacher was involved, and it was about avoiding a task. And what happened was the child received some reteaching. Okay, if you can enter comments as well if you like. And then you hit save. Okay, so the record is there. All right. Any questions at all about how to enter a behavior incident report? Pretty straightforward. And then when you close, I right-click and I get the menu and I close it that way. Okay. Mostly today, I really would like to focus on reports. If we need to talk about some of the administrative items, we can do that if you have questions about that. This is where you would go in and add or enter your staff names. Here's a helpful hint. For those of you who have programs across multiple sites, so like a 4K, if you're implementing in your 4K program that has several buildings, what I might encourage you to consider is having the staff names be coded as, say, program A, J, Fred. Okay? And then when you go to sort, I'm hopeful that eventually you'll be able to sort by just all the programs, and then you can pull the BIRs by program that way. Initials are important, so if you put a dot behind it, I mean, you have to have a consistent entry. So it's helpful to decide how you're going to code people, okay? And then you just save it. Right, I'm going to close out of here. Questions at all about entering a behavior incident report or entering the staff?
This is Nancy, and because we're new to this, I have Kathy, my secretary, who's going to be entering the data, but the question is, I have access now on my laptop. Do I have to go to the Pyramid website to download the framework for this? How do I get the system?
Great question, Nancy. So you have the sample system right now with data in it, and then you get the BIR system on the program-wide resource sharing site, and that you access through collaborating partners. Do you remember that site? I'll take us there right now. So collaboratingpartners.com.
Right.
You go to pyramid model, and then you go to the secure login,
right,
and you go to the program-wide sites login. And I think it's pyramid model, and then the password is program-wide, no capital W, all squished together, no hyphen, and then line Q. Is it program like 10? I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's pyramid model, no spaces, capital M, and it's program-wide 10. Sorry, no, I'm not getting in. I will send you the information on how to get it. I'm so sorry.
10 program-wide.
10 program-wide. Lana is here with me, by the way, everyone. All right, so pyramid model. 10 program-wide, thank you. Okay, and then you go to monitoring implementation outcomes, and you go to behavior incident report, and you download right here, BIR database added field. Okay, you just got it. Okay, so that's where you get that. So there is only, it's a standalone program that sits on one computer. So it's not a web-based sharing. So you'll have to decide if a secretary or a support staff person is entering the data, that's the same computer that you'll be pulling the reports from. Unless you can also just save it as a file, okay? So I can go save database as, and I don't want to do this right now because then I have to close out of what I'm doing, but you can save it as a file, and you could say, you know, data as of January, and then you could load it on from a flash drive, say, on your computer. Does that make sense? So it's really just a standalone, great big giant file that you pull up as a database using Access, Microsoft Access.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Okay, so let's see about the graph. So to do that, we're just going to walk through each of the graphs. And I'm going to share at this point that I'm sitting in a Best Western in St. Paul, and I've had some interesting connections, interesting internet connections today. So we'll see how slow my computer is behaving. So we're going to click BIR by month, okay? And what you get is, this is a rather large database, so it's been over several years, and you'll see here's the data I entered today. And so let's use the year tab at the bottom and select only 2012. Okay, we just want to look at the 2012 data, and so there it pulls up 2012. Okay, and if, for instance, we're looking at this chart, we can see, you know, the number of incidents have dropped significantly. So what we're doing is working. You can use the month to select only March. Okay, so let's just select only March, and it just shows the March data. Okay, you can do some data drilling from this screen. We're not going to do that right now. I'm going to show you other ways that I think are more efficient to do some data drilling, but I just want to show you how you can kind of narrow things down. And I also want to show you this auto filter. So this is what I figured out when I've done some data drilling, and I want to go back to the original graph that showed you just click auto filter. And it pulls up the original data. So auto filter is sort of your go back to the way it was option, okay? And again, this is how I close tabs. Missy, maybe you close it another way, but I right-click and I do close, and I tend to not save the changes, okay? So I say no. If you say, for instance, like your data to come up and show only the 2012 data, you could set it that way and then save the changes, and that's what would pull up when you click BIR by month. But I think in my mind, it just makes sense to have all the data. Okay? Questions at all about BIR by month? Okay, so let's look at BIR by behavior type. Okay. So here's BIR by behavior type. And when we look at this graph, I mean, it's pretty clear that it's physical aggression that is a big area of concern. It looks like things are dropping. I think here's the real secret in this data. I think that when I received this data, it only went through part of March. I think that's why the numbers look so low in March. But let's say we want to do some more data digging around physical aggression. So to do that, we'll deselect the behaviors, and then we'll just select physical aggression. Okay, so it just pulls up the physical aggression. And now we want to do some more data digging about what's going on. So if we click on field list, it brings up other categories we can sort by here. And let's say we want to know during what activities are physical aggression, you know, where is it a problem for us? So what we do is we click on BIR activity. I'm going to click and hold and drag activity here. And this is all of the activities that physical aggression were noted in. Okay? And it looks like then when we look at this data, boy, indoor center or indoor play is kind of looking like a challenge for us. So let's do some more digging about just that. So we're going to pull on the activity menu, and we're going to only select center indoor play. Okay, so this is incidents of physical aggression during center indoor play. And you know, so is this happening only in 1 or 2 classrooms? You know, where is it a problem? So let's click on BIR referring staff and drag that down here. Okay, and so when we look at this, it's lots of staff members are noting concerns. So this is really not a contained issue in 1 or 2 classrooms, except maybe Eagle's classroom, you know. But it looks like this could be more of a program-wide issue. So that's helpful information, maybe. So let's get rid of the sort by referring staff. And to do that, we click on the box until it turns blue, and we hit delete. Okay. Let's see if it's 1 child, maybe, or how many kids. Let's get a sense of what kids are involved. So I'm grabbing the child ID, and I'm pulling it down here. And it's multiple kids as well, though there's 1 child who had a lot of incidents that are decreasing, and another child who has more incidents. So that gives us a sense of which kids maybe we want to be thinking about. Okay, but there are other ways to do more data digging by child. I'm going to delete this as well. So I'm going to close out of the BIR by behavior. And then so I right-click, I hit close, and I'm not going to save the query changes. So I'll give an example. In the program, in one program that I was working with, they saw that physical aggression during indoor center play was an issue. And they realized when they were thinking about what were the rules or expectations that address indoor play, they realized they had no expectations for playtime. So they developed expectations, and they taught those expectations to the kids, and they saw a decrease in the physical aggression. Okay, let's look at BIR by activity. So this shows all the activity areas that were reported, and let's use the month button to select only 2012. So here's 2012 data. And let's show only February and March. Like that. So to do that, I'm going to do this little plus next to it. It pulls up by quarters, and then you can make it just show February and March. Okay. And we see that departures have an increase, a slight increase for the purposes of this webinar. I'm looking at my notes, sorry. So they have decreased incidents, but transitions are kind of have some challenges. So let's select only transition. I find it easier just to deselect and then select. Okay, so here's transition. And actually, I'm going to go back. I know it's still around here. I'm going to select departures. Right. Let's see what's going on with departures, because there's that slight increase. Okay. Let's see, is it certain children that are experiencing challenges? So I click on field list and I pull my child ID. So it's several kids. So, you know, are the several kids in the same classroom? So I'm going to delete the child ID and I'm going to go to referring staff. And so it's 2 classrooms. And if those are maybe a teacher or a teacher assistant, then we might have guidance as a leadership team or a data coordinator to say, you know, I'm going to go to that classroom. We're going to just take a peek at their routines for dismissing kids or for when kids are leaving. Let's figure out what's going on there. So that's a way that you can kind of just get a sense, is this a global challenge across our center, or is this an isolated challenge to individual classrooms, and how can we provide support? Okay? Questions at all about that? So I'm going to right-click and close. Let's go to BIR by staff. And so this is where, you know, we have to be careful here because, right, we want staff members to be consistently filling out BIRs for challenges they are experiencing with children. And we also want to be looking to see which staff members aren't filling out BIRs, and we want to make sure that their submission of BIRs isn't a reflection on their ability or inability to manage challenging behavior. So that's the caveat for that. But it looks like Hawk has a lot of incidents. So let's select just Hawk. This might be useful information for internal coaches to take a look at. What are the behavior incident reports that individual teachers that they're coaching are filling out and experiencing? This could be guidance for an internal coach to do some reflection around certain structuring up certain parts of the day. So let's wonder if there's a certain time that Hawk is experiencing challenges. So it looks like it's kind of throughout the day. But if, say, there were, say, Hawk is a teacher who's always assigned to playground duty, right? And that there are a lot of incidents that occur during the playground time, and you know that it could be related to that. Okay. I'm going to auto-filter this to get back to that look. Sorry, I'm going to delete time, and then I'm going to auto-filter. So it can be helpful for your leadership team. What I've experienced as a coach, and I think other sites are reporting this as well, is that right after you train staff in completing the behavior incident reports, there's a huge spike in the number of incidents, and that over time, the number of reports that you get decrease. That can be related to the work of implementing the pyramid model, and that can also be sort of a lag in staff actually reporting incidents as well. So I know that we talk a lot during the team training that if your staff members never see the data, they will stop filling out the BIR reports. If the BIR reports aren't used to offer them assistance and support, they'll stop filling out the BIR report as well. So it can be helpful for the leadership team to just every once in a while just eyeball and see, are there any teachers who have never filled out a BIR report, and have somebody kind of check them, or to wonder why. with them that they're not experiencing challenges or reporting any challenges with behavior. Okay, so questions at all about the BIR by staff? Okay, and then right-click and close out of here. So let's look at the BIR by child. And this is a report that can be very helpful for problem solving for individual children. And for those of you who are on this call, I will send you the directions that I'm using to walk through this in case you want to review it on your own. For those of you who are on the recorded webinar, this should be in the folder with this recording as well, the directions to follow this. But for the child report, let's narrow it down to just the reports for 2012. Okay, we do that by month. So here's the data for 2012. And let's pull by February to show you what you can do. Okay, so just February. So it looks like, you know, there are some kids who have had one incident. That's not unusual. Child, if you hover over, has had 2. If you want to get a sense, particularly if you have very large databases, I want to show you an option. So if you just click on one of the bars, I'm going to try clicking on all the bars, and you go to the show top or bottom. Show only the top 5% of kids who received behavior incidents. So in this instance, it's one child who's receiving 5% of the behavior incident, right? And so this program could reduce the number of behavior incidents by really focusing on providing support to TMOCA. Okay, so that's a way that you can kind of think about supporting kids and making significant changes in the BIR data. Okay. Let's figure out then for TMOCA, what are the behaviors that are an issue? So I clicked on field list, and let's pull problem behavior. And so there are 3 areas of problem behavior for TMOCA. Let's see here. So let's figure out during what activities. And I'm going to click and drag on activity, and I can see that where certain behaviors are happening and during what activities. Okay. All right. So that's a way that you can do that. If you want to dig more deeply into just the physical aggression, then you could just do that. Okay. So that I'm going to go to auto filter. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm going to delete the big field and then go to auto filter. And so let's take a look at only TMOCA and get a sense of what are people thinking about, what might be motivating him or her to use challenging behavior. So here are TMOCA's behavior challenges across 2012. And I'm going to pull by possible motivation. So if I pull here by possible motivation, oops. So this is not uncommon, right? So this is a little person who's exhibiting some challenging behavior, and essentially adults are having a hard time figuring out why. It's pretty common in the beginning for adults to indicate don't know as the motivation. If you see that happening a lot, then you need to offer some more professional development and guidance for your staff members to really kind of just go with their gut about what they think the child is communicating with their behavior. So let's take a look, though, at this gain peer attention, and then let's also pull in don't know as well. I'm going to pull blank in there. That means somebody didn't put anything down. They left it blank. Okay. So those are the incidents that have those are the incidents that have gained peer attention. If you want to get a sense of what is the behavior that the child is using that adults think is getting peer attention, it's all sorts of things. So this is really, when you see data like this, and when I see data like this, this is a child who's really confounding teachers. Somebody needs to help teachers think through this child's behavior. Okay. Questions about kind of doing data drilling by child? I invite you to really explore with this because there's lots of options for how deeply you can drill. Okay. All right. Let's close out of here. I want to show you two more graph options, and the first is by motivation. And this, so what this graph does is it pulls together it sorts by whatever people have indicated as the motivation. And I'm going to pull only the 2012 data because it's easier. So when you look at this data, so as a leadership team, you look at this data, and it looks like there's a lot of reporting about getting peer attention. And so as a leadership team, you could wonder together about, what are the social skill lessons that we could be focusing on that would address more appropriate ways to gain peer attention for our kids. So that's just an option for the motivation. Okay. And I want to show you consequences. So get ready. This is kind of this is why we saved this one for last. This is a graph that I haven't played a lot with, but I do know a center director who really feels this is a really useful graph. I'm going to show you a way that I think this graph could be more useful, and I apologize for not having played with this more, but this is a graph that is what it is. So what I found useful is to just go in and just delete all of these categories, and I'm sure there is a much smarter way to do this, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out. So I'm just clicking on them and hitting delete. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the field list, and let's say that what you're really hoping for as a leadership team is that really looking at a reduction in somewhat more punitive consequences for kids, you could get a sense of that. So let's say we want to see time in a different class. So I'm going to pull time in a different class. So are children being sent out of out of their classroom, sent to different places, okay? And let's say we want to look at timeout, and we want to look at physical hold, and we want to also then look at, are people really using the use of challenging behavior as an opportunity to reteach or practice with kids, okay? So this is it's just a way to kind of see, look, we're seeing an increase in, or we're seeing use of teaching and reteaching. Boy, in January there were some timeouts being used, and so, you know, what's going on with that? Where is that happening? What I'm not sure is if you can pull, this is not set up to actually pull the incidents that have reported timeout, but it's a way for you to just get a sense of how are the adults in our program sort of responding when children are needing to use challenging behavior. Are there other thoughts about how you could use this data? Okay, so that's what I have to show you. That's sort of the bells and whistles of the BIR report. You can get back to the main menu. You know, it's pretty easy to navigate, I think. Are there immediate questions that come to mind, things you're wondering about? Okay. Nancy, I see that you asked a question, but I'm afraid to pull it up. Okay. Well, that's what I have. If there are no other questions, I'll be posting this recording to the model research sharing, program-wide research sharing site under the webinars. And if you have any questions at all, once you get in, you can email me, julieb@cisa11.k12.wi.us. If you need your database to be updated to include the field sort, please email me and we'll try to get that taken care of for you. Okay? Otherwise, thank you all. Stay warm. Bye.